I'm Jamie Heineman.
And I'm Adam Savage.
We're going to find out what happens when you strap a rocket to a 67 Chevy.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up, we turn a Chevy into a 350-mile-per-hour road warrior.
This is so exciting. I'm going to have a grinectomy.
Pop rocks and soda. Urban myth or recipe for disaster.
Dude, your stomach's going to burst.
Here on MythBusters, we're not just going to retell the stories.
Small pin.
We're going to put them to the test.
We're prepared to put our bodies on the line.
There's just one problem. Some aren't myths at all.
Which one would that be?
I don't know yet.
So why should you trust these guys? Well, Jamie and Adam have over 30 years in model building, animatronics, and toy prototyping. They've worked in features, television, theater, and games. They can build just about anything, and probably have.
This is M5, my special effects shop. Come on in and have a look around.
Jamie's amassed an awesome collection of tools, talent, and techniques. If we can't find it here,
I'm trying to locate a pig's stomach.
there's always Adam's eclectic collection.
I come from the planet Butthead.
And if that fails, the guys are backed by experts in folklore, crime, medicine, and engineering.
Ow, ow,
Jamie and Adam are supposed to be experts in what's real and what's not. And they'll need every trick in the book.
So where do we begin? What do we got? Let's go.
This is the big one. What we have is a 1967 Chevy Impala that was taken out into the desert, and somebody had put a rocket booster on it. Now, they found out about it because there was a smoldering wreckage that the highway patrol there found.
We pieced together a gentleman or an individual that had put a JATO, or a rocket assist takeoff unit, on an older model vehicle.
The guy apparently was an Air Force sergeant, former Air Force sergeant.
He made sure he had a long, straight road and there was nothing around.
He got up to highway speed, about 80 miles an hour, fired the things off.
The car had accelerated from like 80 to 300 miles per hour in a couple seconds.
There was a curve in the road, a slight increase or upgrade, and a mountain shortly thereafter.
So he applies the brakes, and of course the brakes burn out.
They found about 1.5 miles of skid mark.
He didn't make the turn, he went airborne, and he crashed into the side of the mountain approximately 100 or so feet up in the air.
So do we have any corroboration of this, or any photos, or anybody come forward?
Well, that's our job to pursue that, and we need to get a hold of a 67 Chevy or something as close as we can to it, and need to get a hold of a JATO or a RATO, or again something equivalent to it.
I foresee some wreckage, actually.
Well,
personally, there's so many variables here in terms of, you know, a car that's got to accelerate even to 150 miles an hour for a 35-year-old car. It'll look really cool.
It'll look really cool. I mean, that's going to be big flame shooting out the back. It's going to be great. I can't think of anything more fun than doing this.
No, you know what? I really can't.
I first heard about the story approximately 1994 when I was, my job was a spokesman for the Department of Public Safety. I received a phone call from a local reporter asking about a Darwin Award that was on the internet. The way the story read was that the Arizona Department of Public Safety, or the Highway Patrol, was the ones that did the investigation on it. I thought it was a very real possibility that it could have happened, because Arizona is home to several air bases. Thus, military personnel could have gotten a hold of a JATO unit to use in this fashion.
JATO, or Jet Assisted Takeoff, has been around since the Second World War. We should call them RATOs, because each canister is filled with solid rocket propellant. A single unit puts out 1,000 pounds of thrust for 12 to 15 seconds. Up to 8 JATOs are used when large military aircraft are operating with heavy loads or from short runways.
Do we think the military's just going to hand over one of these JATO bottles? What do we do if they don't actually let us have one?
Well, I kind of doubt that they will. This is not the kind of thing that you would want to let the general public have access to.
Yeah.
Air Force Public Affairs. I'm not at my desk right now, so leave a message.
We'd love to have the military there and involved. We would like the assistance of the Blue Angels. We're trying to get a hold of and get the military's assistance with operating one of these rados or JATOs, just so it's clear we're not trying to get a hold of one of these things and do whatever we want with it. We want you involved.
Okay.
Well, we actually got to talk to somebody. She said they're very expensive units, and that I don't know whether it's going to be possible. This is an unusual request.
Most good urban legends have good details, names, places, dates. In this case, often it's a Chevy Impala that the man was driving.
So we need to find a '67 Chevy. I wonder where we're going to do that.
Well, I picked this up at a flea market, actually. This here is a '67 Chevy Impala. That's our goal.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to find a junker, something with a crappy body. All we need is for it to run.
We live in America where, unless you're in New York or a place that has a subway, you must have a car to survive.
Not an Impala, we got a Pontiac.
It runs? The Pontiac runs?
Not at the moment, it just needed the transmission on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Only?
Yeah, but you know.
And a car not only is about survival, but it's also a symbol of adolescent freedom. When you get a car, you can leave the nest.
We're going to be putting some rockets on the top of the car and setting them
Oh, like
off.
the guy in the desert, the old
Yeah.
urban
That's
legend.
it.
So you want
Exactly.
it's a 72 Impala or 69 Impala you're supposed
Yeah.
to use. Yeah, everybody.
We'll take anything that looks like, I mean, a Falcon within a couple of years.
Something of that
kinda-
vintage, as long
You
as it
want it to
runs. Don't care about.
T-Bird? You want a Thunderbird?
Well, it got to be cheap.
62. Well, $750.
That's
Let's have a look
very
at it.
plausible.
It's also a symbol of sex. This is where a young man can have his first sexual experiences in this car.
Oh, yeah. That's the we're done.
I'll be kind of ashamed to destroy it.
We don't have to destroy it. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh my God, I'm loving this. Oh, look at that. Wow. Oh, this automatic windows. Oh, yeah.
Is that your premise, though, to do that urban legend?
Yeah.
Why don't you should get a Chevy, because I always heard the story with the Chevy. Because I always understand it'd be like a 69 to 72 Impala.
Okay.
Chevrolet, the beautiful shape for 1965.
The Chevy Impala is an ideal candidate for urban legend status. It was first introduced in 1958. From the start, it was a prestige car within the reach of the average American.
Unmistakable. A completely new look time cannot wash away.
By the end of the millennium, sales exceeded 13 million, making the Chevy Impala the most popular full-size car in American history.
See the beautiful shapes of Chevrolet for 1965 at your Chevrolet dealers now.
We need it to run.
Need it to run.
Needs
This one
it.
may run. It's got a bomb motor in it. What do you mean? You're gonna put rockets on it? It'll go.
We're going to destroy the car.
Of course you are. That's half the fun.
Thank you anyway.
Thanks very much.
No problem.
Despite its popularity, the Impala is proving as hard to procure as JATO rocket.
We called you last week concerning procuring a JATO. procuring a JATO or a RATO. So far, we've had very little luck with getting anybody to return our calls.
I'm Sergeant Bob Stein with the Arizona Department of Public Safety, and you're watching MythBusters.
Jamie and Adam are following a promising new lead on that 67 Chevy.
Well, we're going to strap some rockets to its back end.
Yeah. You know that thing where they took it out in the desert and set those up?
I got the perfect car for you.
We're going to do that.
You got it.
It's a 67, all right, but unfortunately, an Oldsmobile.
Heavy.
Very.
450.
So far, we haven't seen a single 60s Impala.
We were looking at a T-Bird. It was that they had for $750. It was pretty nice.
Really?
Adam's beautiful T-Birds already been sold.
67.
This is your car if you want a car to put a rocket on. She's fast.
Just as we've given up hope of finding our car in time,
It's officially an Impala.
Would it be all right if I drive it around the block?
Oh, yeah. Oh, whoa, whoa.
I got it, lady.
it's a working 66 Chevy Impala with some decidedly non-standard features.
This is without a doubt our car. It's destiny.
I think the hydraulic aspect of it is just hysterical. You know, this thing we get a couple get the rocket mounted right up here. I mean, this is nice and sturdy.
We're gonna mount it on top?
That's what the legend shows.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. We are 8.5 miles from where we bought the car.
It's 100 degrees. We're 3 hours from the shop. And thanks to a blocked fuel filter, our rocket car is doing exactly 0 miles per hour. Thank goodness Adam's got the gold breakdown package.
So, the Air Force apparently called us back and turned us down on the JATO rocket?
Permission denied.
Yeah, I think, did they call us back again just to deny permission again without being asked?
Twice.
So we got these things.
Yeah.
How are we gonna, these are the hobby rockets. This is like an example, one of the tubes. How are we gonna fire these off?
Well, these are actually more powerful than the JATOs. The ones that, you know...
But they're smaller, how's that possible?
Well, we're going to use more of them. While they're running, they put out 1,500 pounds of thrust as opposed to 1,000 pounds, but they only last for 4 seconds. We're going to get several of them, and we'll set them off successively. So we're going to put 3 of them on, and we'll probably put them on the car like this. We have a qualified operator that you have to have a license a federal license to be able to purchase these things and operate them.
I would hope so.
Yeah, and so we're going to have those guys set them off, and
so that's what it's going to look like.
yeah, that's essentially what we're going to do. We'll have to reinforce it and everything.
That's all fine in theory, but it's an awful lot of power to put on the roof of a junker.
1 pound of thrust is 2 horsepower.
So one of those rocket motors at 1,500 pounds of thrust is 3,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
That'll make our Chevy almost 4 times as powerful as an Indy car.
Think of putting another car on top of this car. It's that kind of weight that's up there.
So we want to probably build some kind of steel cage within the car's body to support this.
Yeah, we need to have.
We don't just want to like tie strap it to the roof or anything.
Yeah, that would be a bad idea. Could probably rip the roof right off the car.
Oh, how about that? There
Adam, you're gonna get sick.
I believe I'm already sick. Give me the fire extinguisher. What the?
This time it's no joke. The fire's burning through the hydraulic lines.
That sawdust with the hydraulic fluid's a nice little kind of wicky thing.
Yeah. Wiki.
I was thinking that we would drill up through here and bolt the top frame onto here.
With this design, the whole roof structure becomes part of the rocket rack.
Well,
those 1, 2, 3, let's jump together.
These tubes will hold the hobby rocket motors firmly in place.
Fins for the rocket. Now, it turns out besides this legend, other people have strapped rockets to cars before, haven't they?
Yeah, there are world speed records that have occurred by using this.
In 1965, Walt Afrons built the first rocket-powered land speed car. Wingfoot Express 2 was initially designed with 10 JATO units, but that wasn't nearly enough. 25 rockets eventually blasted the car to an unofficial top speed of 605 miles per hour.
Of course, you have to remember that those are unusual cars. They're usually very long and
they're basically
built
like
for
rocks
this.
with wheels.
Yeah.
So this also begs the question, where do we fire this car off?
There are some lakes, dry lake beds to the south of here towards LA, so we'll probably try one of those first to see whether we can get access to something like that.
Jamie's having second thoughts about getting behind the wheel.
If this behaves like the legend says, we're going to have a 3,000 to 4,000 pound projectile out there. And I guess the other thing that I thought, with that in mind, if we do lose control of it, obviously we don't want to be in the car. So we're probably going to...
You don't want to be in the car?
I would love to be in the car. But
I think you should drive the car.
Well, I think I should too, but we've radio-controlled cars before, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, so we'll make it radio-controlled?
Yeah, I think that's the safest way of dealing with it.
Oh, that's the coolest toy ever.
Yeah, it's a big kid's RC car. You want to do it?
It's not quite as simple as a radio-controlled toy. At 300 miles per hour, the forces on the steering servos will be immense.
Servos are motors that are positionable, so we can precisely control the steering on this. Right. We need to have something pretty good, because if it's going that fast, we need to really be able to dial in on the aim, or it may go out of control.
The transmitter also has dangerous limitations.
One of the things is that these radio controls are only good for 1,000 meters or so, plus or minus.
About half a mile.
Yeah. For us to, if this thing is going 300 miles an hour, it's going to get out of range from us real quick, even if we're driving alongside. So we're probably going to have to think of ways of either getting we're going to have to go out and rent a really, really fast car, or we'll have to get a helicopter. It'd probably be the safest way of dealing with it. I'm going to try and start it.
All right.
Yeah! Jamie's going to need every bit of control when he hits top speed.
At 350 miles an hour, a Chevrolet Impala, all the windows will pop out of it and the roof will peel off.
Andy Granatelli knows all about speed. He holds 21 Hall of Fame records. Many were set in conventional vehicles. He claims the top speed for a street machine, an awesome 241 miles per hour. At this velocity, wind resistance is the biggest enemy.
The car would become airborne at a little over 200 miles an hour. The car would just raise the front of it up and would flip over. In other words, because the air would get underneath the front of the car.
Yeehaw!
Jamie plans to use the Chevy's hydraulics to combat those forces. Lowering the hood should give considerable aerodynamic efficiency. It will also help with what he's been told is the most vital factor.
The most difficult thing about this whole deal is probably getting this straight on the car. There's no real true center line that we know is actually the direction the car is going to go. We have, according to the experts, a 6-degree misalignment is going to put about 100 to 150 pounds of push on the tail of the car. You come over that way.
I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm just fine. Nothing's broken. Nothing's hurt. That was a little bit of a shock. I just had a massive release of adrenaline.
Okay, so...
I am my own stunt double.
That way.
All right.
Yeah, that's as good as anything. So that's right about 86. And that's right about 86.
Beautiful. Let's tack this puppy down.
I can't wait to set this thing off. I'm going to be in a helicopter, and I've never ridden a helicopter before, radio controlling a 3,000 horsepower rocket-driven radio-controlled car.
What could be better? You know, you could just kill yourself when you were done, because it's just like, it ain't getting any better than that.
It's all going downhill from there.
Hi, I'm Andy Granatelli, and you're watching MythBusters.
And so the fun begins. It's such a treat to see the sunrise over the desert. What am I saying? It's a treat to fly over a rocket car in the desert.
Finally, all the pieces are coming together on the lake bed. With a bit of luck, we'll soon know if the JATO rocket myth is indeed possible.
I'm just setting the fail-safe on this. These radios actually leave an instruction with the receiver to return to a certain position if they should lose communication.
Yeah, I think so.
Jamie will be joined in the chopper by Eric Gates. He and his brother Dirk have over 20 years' experience in amateur rocketry. They plan to fire the motors by remote control.
Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Jamie's going to do a dry run in the car. The rocket guys, I think, are going to do a test fire, so all systems are good. I expect it's probably about an hour to actual firing.
The remote control and fail-safe are working perfectly.
Everything went fine on that dry run. We got all 3
Well, you know, I'm not at all happy. The reason being that that unless something goes wrong on the first test, it makes me nervous because that means something's going to go wrong later.
How you doing? Adam Savage.
If this new visitor is right, Jamie may just get his wish.
I looked at it, the mount's not strong enough, number one. The mount's not straight either. We warned them about straightening the mount. It's got to be dead straight or it'll steer the car all the time.
George should know. Not only did he work on the Apollo program, he's conducted numerous speed trials out here.
8 points welded into the frame of the car.
I hope it works. I mean, you know, because I don't want you to dig up my leg bed.
Not exactly comforting words for our final briefing.
The helicopter's going to do a pass around just like we did the last time. About the time that it passes in front of the car, I've released the brakes and the car is going to start to roll.
Like the Myth, our plan is to get the car up to 80 miles per hour before firing the rockets.
Giving it a lot of gas.
When the motors go, they're going to have a tendency to scare you. So when you're hearing the 3, 2, 1, brace yourself, don't veer.
Sound like a jet engine. It's going to get a 15-foot flame out the back.
15. Yep.
Is that when the rocket fires, is it going to cause the...
We don't know. We don't know. The car might end over end, whatever. You want to be far enough away that you have, you know, several seconds.
Cool.
And if you do, a general rule of thumb with that kind of thing, if you do see something coming at you, go off at right angles to it. Don't try to outrun it.
The crew are not the only ones who'll be keeping a close eye on the rocket car. It seems to have attracted the interest of security at nearby Edwards Air Force Base.
Let's have a good bird, man. Yeah. Get your game face on.
Good luck.
This is so exciting. That cardboard box at the front of the truck.
I'm going to have a grinectomy. Green light to go. They're starting their circle now. Brakes are coming off. We are a go.
Nothing's happening. We're aborting? Yep, we're aborting. We are aborting. We are aborting. Copy that. Copy that. Let's abort the whole thing. Okay, helicopter's coming in.
Doesn't it go through the inside? So how do you get it?
Looks like the car's old gremlins are back to haunt us. With all the focus on horsepower and thrust curves, we never did fix that fuel problem.
The problem is that this is an older car, and we've been stirring up sediment in the bottom of the tank, and it's gotten into the fuel filter and clogged the fuel filter. All we have to do is pull the filter out and flush it out once in a while. And we should get a good run here soon. That sort of answers my need for a small failure. I'll accept that one as a small failure.
To go. Car's starting to roll. Okay, we're in line. Okay, coming out of full throttle. I'm coming hot with the electronics. All right. Okay, good luck. Go ahead and set them off. Okay, helicopter's at speed. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Fire. 3, 2, 1, firing. 3, 2, 1, firing. We got them all.
It's been a long road, but finally, we have liftoff. 3 rockets, 4 seconds, and 1,500 pounds of thrust apiece. That's 3,000 horsepower for 12 seconds. just like a J-To.
That was hysterical. That was absolutely outrageous.
What kind of speed do you think it got to?
I don't know. The helicopter was having trouble keeping up with it.
The chopper's top speed is 130 per hour.
Hey! Ah! That was beautiful. We lost track of it.
Oh yeah, we couldn't keep up with it with the helicopter. It just once those suckers lit, it just like.
It's one thing to see him go up, it's another thing to see him go horizontal.
Leave you guys in the dust.
Just the dust trail from the car is so beautiful.
I was quite impressed. I was hoping it would go good, and it did. You know, I was a little apprehensible, but no. Jamie did his homework.
Over the years, many have claimed they were the inspiration for this story. For those who really tried it, the results were the same. In 1957, Dodge was filming an ad on this same lake. They replaced the gas tank with a single J-To bottle. The car topped out at 140 miles per hour.
So, Jamie, given the structure of the original myth that the guy ignited the rocket, accelerated to like 350 miles per hour, supposedly hit the edge of a curve of the road and was airborne for several seconds before hitting the side of a cliff, do you think it's possible?
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
They'd have to have at least around 4 times the power that we did.
Back in '46, Andy Granatelli and his brothers did just that. They put 8 J-Tos on an Indy racer.
The explosion was horrendous, and the thrust was such that you couldn't believe it. We looked at each other as if we were going to the moon. The rocket left not a little fizzle like this, but for a lot 300 feet long, for wider than the road and higher than the telephone wires, a tail of fire. And the car accelerated up to approximately 180 miles an hour. I mean, and believe me, I mean, it was unbelievable.
Andy's antics may well be the origin of the J-To myth. One thing's for sure, we can all quit calling the Arizona Department of Public Safety.
There never was a crash site found in Arizona, nothing even vaguely familiar. On occasion, we still get people inquiring about it, and we posted it on our website stating that it is a myth.
That was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, that was great. Just those few seconds being in that chopper, right trailing behind the car, seeing those things set off, it was indescribable. Just seeing that car kind of go. I mean, it was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
Coming up next,
Pop Rocks and soda, myth or recipe for disaster.
I'm Jamie Heineman. You're watching MythBusters. I hope you cut that out.
So do you remember Pop Rocks?
Yeah, they were invented in 1956, the year of my birth.
Really?
Yes.
The legend we're approaching now is the legend that little Mikey from the Life Cereals commercial.
I remember it so clearly. The kid goes, "Let's get Mikey to try it. He won't eat it. He hates everything."
Whatever Mikey could eat, everyone could eat. That was the idea.
Anyways, Mikey at one point becomes a teenager.
He ate 6 cans of soda and 6 pouches of Pop Rocks.
And this has some kind of chemical reaction in his stomach.
And exploded, and he died.
So the myth is that, you know, that a combination of 6 packs of Pop Rocks and a 6-pack of soda is a lethal combination of gases that will make your stomach explode. We'd like to determine a couple of things. We want to see how much pressure is generated by a rapid infusion of 6 packs of Pop Rocks and soda. We'd like to determine how much pressure a stomach can withstand. I've been thinking about this, and I think to imitate a stomach, the pressures of a stomach, that the best course is to use a pig's stomach, which is actually physically very close to a human stomach, which can hold about between 1 and 2 pints, generally, of liquid. I'm trying to locate a pig's stomach. A pig's stomach. Should we continue further? Is this about the size of a human stomach?
I really could say.
How large is it? I mean, it's obviously it's deflated, right?
Like a swimming cap.
What?
Like a swimming cap.
Like a swimming cap. A very, very meaty swimming cap.
Originally, the idea was to create an instant carbonated soda by General Foods.
Can I try some?
Yeah, absolutely.
They discovered actually that when you ate those nuggets, there was like a sizzling or popping sensation in your mouth.
I'll tell you, it's been 25 years, but I know exactly what this is going to feel like. Have you had them before?
Long time ago, yeah.
All right.
And in 1975, they decided to launch Pop Rocks, as we all know Pop Rocks.
It's kind of gross.
The difference between normal candy or normal standard hard candy and Pop Rocks is that when the candy actually is still like melted, you put carbon dioxide under certain conditions of pressures that I believe is 600 psi.
This isn't getting us any closer to that pig stomach.
Does it have like the esophagus and the intestines attached at all?
No. Just the stomach.
I need all the tubes attached to it. Would it be possible to get it with as much of the attachments to it as possible?
No.
It turns out that the Food and Drug Administration have listed the esophagus and bowel as hazardous substances.
5825 South.
It looks like that says 580 is going. Well, I think we should just get a real pig and feed him. It'd be kind of fun to watch see what a pig does when you feed him a bunch of it.
See, again, there goes your lack of political understanding. You can raise so much hell with that.
It's better to kill the pig first and then give it to him?
Absolutely. People are much more comfortable with that arrangement. All right, here we are. 4 stomachs. Terrific. That's them. The specific instructions on the thing, complete with esophagus and intestines. It's actually becoming a reality.
That's one important mission accomplished.
Yummy. That looks like right out of Aliens, doesn't it? Looks like I can feel. All right, yeah, I've got my finger all the way down in there. So that's I don't know which one's the intake and which one's the output.
The worst part is the breath coming out of here. Soda.
It's interesting that the valves on this thing actually work. That's like it's holding its pressure. We just put air in there and walked away.
And how do you think we'll get the Pop Rocks and the soda actually into the stomach?
To get these in there, we have to get them wet, unless we're gonna. I mean, they're not gonna pour. They're gonna stick along the side. They're gonna immediately clog the hole. You know, I had an idea.
Yeah.
What if we got a hold of some tea bag type stuff and kind of wad them up in little packets and drop them down in there? It's too big. Well, the packet's not going to work. It's too bulky, and so that's that.
I think we want to equate a worst case scenario here. You know, like the Pop Rocks are going in one bunch along with the soda, I guess as rapidly as you could do it. I mean, as rapidly as someone might drink it.
Big syringe then.
A big syringe?
The myth appeared, I believe, was in 1979, 4 years after the candy was launched, and actually has devastating consequences for the brand name. Sales dropped down to almost nil.
Okay, so one of the things we have to figure out is how are we going to hang this thing?
What about mounting it in our skeleton over there?
Sure.
There's plenty of tie points in the rib cage.
Yeah, and it'll, you know, we'll get to see, you know, fluid dribbling out out of the skeleton, and you wanted the dramatic effect, that'll do it.
Yeah, and of course, actually, the inlet tube will have to come up and out through the mouth of the skeleton.
Yeah.
And you know where the outlet tube is going?
No. Where is the outlet tube going?
Oh, don't make me say it. By the time we're done, he'll be playing the piano just like old times.
What the company tried to do to address that problem was basically they ran around 45 advertisements, big full-page advertisements in magazine, and they wrote about 50,000 letters to different high school headmasters and school headmasters explaining that there was no problem.
Frequently, legends are believed, and what happens is something called ostension. Ostension means that a legend is believed to the point that you change your behavior. Once a belief is out there, it's pretty difficult. You have to take some gargantuan steps to disprove it.
We've got to mix up one last ingredient before the experiment can begin.
I'd say it's about a pH of 2.
Okay. So that's the equivalent of one stomach's contents of hydrochloric acid,
That's
yes?
1.7 pounds of water.
Okay.
Gastric juice is secreted, actually, we believe, as a protective mechanism. It's not designed to aid in digestion. It's designed, the hydrochloric acid along with pepsin is designed to kill things. So it's kind of protection over when we were back there fighting the hyenas for the bones.
It might not aid in digestion, but we think a quart of hydrochloric acid will be critical to busting this myth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Your gloves.
Now, the fun begins.
Once you're pouring the liquid, I'll be opening cans of soda, handing them off to you.
Okay. We're clamped everywhere. All right.
Oh, man. All right, Mike, he's had 2 cans. He's out of control. Oh, my God, he's going for another one. Mikey. All right, Mikey, man, you can't drink those last 2 cans of soda. Dude, you are an animal. Dude, your stomach's gonna burst. All right, here comes the plunger.
Slow down. You didn't drink it that fast. Listen to that. You can hear those Pop Rocks going for it. Well, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, there goes a burp. Mikey's burping. Come on. Oh, man.
Look how big that stomach's getting.
All right.
It's more or less got it.
All right. Wow. Okay, I wouldn't have called that he could drink all that soda and Pop Rocks at once.
That's huge. That's like 3 times the size of what it was.
We're not reading any real pressure in here.
By its nature, the human stomach is a capacitance organ. That means it's designed to stretch. Receptive relaxation is the concept in human physiology, so it will relax and stretch up to some limit.
So my guess is Mikey's feeling a little ill right about now.
I know I would be.
Do you think we should give him some time to digest?
Sure, why not?
You got 2 built-in vents, one on either side of the stomach, that should be the places that this air goes if you reach those kinds of pressures.
Even with time for digestion, the Pop Rocks and soda just don't produce enough gas.
We put 6 cans, about another, almost a liter of acid, 6 doses of Pop Rocks.
I can still hear it, can't you?
You can still hear it crackling.
Yeah, Pop Rocks are going.
So, does this myth contain any elements of truth?
The human stomach clearly can rupture. There's no question about that. You can get rupture in blunt trauma, automobile accidents, for instance.
It's starting to get kind of special in here. from a olfactory standpoint.
After a quick reset, we're going to try and see if we can make our pig's stomach explode.
Who the hell could be calling me? I can't answer that. I'm tying a pig's stomach into a skeleton. Clamp.
My name is Fernando Arguis, Vice President General Manager of Pop Rocks Incorporated, and you're watching MythBusters.
Now, it turns out that in the annals of medicine in the last century, there are a half dozen cases of people's stomachs exploding from an excess of CO2, usually from something like baking soda. We're going to see how the bicarbonate of soda compares to Pop Rocks in terms of the expansion of the stomach. Oh, right. 1. Let's do 3.
That's an awful lot of sodium bicarb.
Well, you know, I've taken 2 with heartburn. Let's say someone feels
Unlike
really bad.
Pop Rocks, the baking soda and acid react.
Injecting acid. All right.
The result is carbon dioxide gas. Lots of it.
Okay, 1 down. Yummy, and good for you. The single most popular food item in the United States. 3 cans down. 4. Come on, you gotta drink a little faster, piggy. 5. 6. We've fully drunk the soda. Bicarbonate.
You ready?
Ready. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. He's still drinking.
That's getting really big.
He can't hold it anymore. Clamp it.
See what the pressure is rating.
Whoa. Okay, that's much bigger than before. It's still hardly reading. It's reading about half a PSI.
There are probably lots of folks out there who have for years and years and years been using baking soda. And in the amounts that would be prescribed to reduce acid, there's very, very little gas formed. It usually stays in solution, comes out, doesn't cause very much by way of distension if you stay within the limits that are recommended.
Here on MythBusters, we're never afraid to push the limits.
1 second. Okay, ready?
Ready. Oh, I feel the pressure.
If you have a stomach that's greatly distended by a large meal, and then you add on top of that either gas in the form of sodium bicarbonate to try and relieve acid indigestion, you can, in those very, very unusual situations, see gastric rupture. But no one should have the impression that this is common by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
Whoa! Wow.
Well, that did cause a reaction.
That turned out to be a little too much. Yeah, that's what we call a hell of a Saturday night. Oh my gosh. Totally blue. With the addition of a little more stomach acid and the bicarbonate of soda, what was that, 2 tablespoons?
Yeah.
Just ripped a hole right in the back. I felt the pressure as I was plunging it. You know, wanted to push the plunger back out again.
Yeah.
And then that final bit, I don't know if we were watching what the meter said, but it might have spiked.
Yeah.
I mean, in a body, something like 2 or 3 PSI is a huge amount of pressure.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a human consuming that much crap. Well, maybe I can, actually.
Well, the sodium bicarb with the person's own stomach seems to me to be the main thing.
Yeah.
Somebody that's just taking, you know, eating candy or something, I don't see it happening.
MythBusters tried to contact John Gilchrist, the actor who played Little Mikey. He never returned our calls.
Another one bites the dust.
In this episode of MythBusters, get ready to rot.
That pig's going to be one big bag of maggots.
Heard about the car with a big smell that won't sell?
The smell from over here is horrifying.
There's a terrible stink as an experiment goes too far. Plus, Dummy and Dumber. A MythBusters superstar chases a raccoon down the drain to test the myth and blows a hole in the story. Who are the MythBusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage.
I always enjoyed seeing Adam in pain.
Oh! And Jamie Heineman.
Jamie wants a big boom.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
Feel kind of sexy.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. For our myth-busting heroes, testing tall tales is a mix of danger and stupidity. Shocks and shakeups. And a liberal dose of their old favorite, explosions.
Well, I tell you what, you know that.
Usually it's a laugh and a test of wits, with the occasional tantrum.
I don't care, actually, Adam.
But are they about to meet their myth-busting match?
All hands on deck.
This experiment will take them into a world of putrid pain.
Christ, now I just got a really bad whiff of it.
Adam and Jamie want to test the myth of the stinky car.
This actually is perfect for us, this one. It's kind of gross, but it's excellent. It's been told for years. And the idea is always the same, that a really valuable car is on the market for a great price. No one will buy it because of the smell. Turns out that someone has died in the car, and even though they've attempted to clean out the smell, it still persists, and even at this great price, no one will buy it.
Our queen of folklore, Heather Joseph Witham, picks up the scent of this story.
You've got a young guy who wants a really hot car, usually a sports car. And young guys can't afford sports cars, and they can't afford nice cars, certainly. So this is the only way that this sort of blue-collar, working-class young guy is going to be able to get such an awesome car. But sort of the moral of the story is that the blue-collar guy never can get something that he won't be able to afford like this unless it literally stinks.
So what are the ingredients in this recipe for rankness? We need a car, and to simulate a rotting human, a pair of pigs that have died of natural causes. The method to the madness is simple, on paper anyway. Put pigs in car, leave to simmer for 2 months, then see if you can clean up the mess and sell the car.
I expect that this is going to be pretty bad, actually. I'm not looking forward to it, and yet I am.
Let's work on the least disgusting part first, buying a second-hand sports car.
Boy, are you guys on schedule or what?
Are you Tom?
Yeah, I recognize you two.
Tom has an '87 Corvette for sale that looks about right.
This is my baby. Looks pretty good.
This is Tom's 5th Corvette. It's a love affair that's been running since the 60s.
Has anyone died in this Corvette?
Not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge?
No.
Have you heard about the myth of a car that was so stinky that no one would buy it, even though it was a really good deal?
No.
Okay, time for a test drive.
I always like a car that's got 4 or 5 controls just for your ass.
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
That Corvette is a nice looking car. You know, it's a really sleek, really sexy Americana.
Okay, there's some power there.
Oh,
more than I'm used to.
The Corvette was the first all-American sports car. Chevrolet began production in 1953, and these stylish muscle cars quickly became classics. They've been building Corvettes ever since, 1 million on the road today. And at the wheel of every one of those cars is a very passionate Corvette fan.
What we're about to do to that Corvette is going to make a lot of veteran Corvette owners all over America squirm. You know, I mean, it's This is an absolutely horrible thing to do to a beautiful car.
Okay, that was fun. You'll enjoy driving this back to San Francisco. I think we should get it.
Yeah, I like it, and I think it's hot.
It's a done deal. But for Tom, there's a little twist in this transaction.
Farther than that. Oh, really? You want to tell him?
We have, waiting eagerly for this car, a recently dead pig that we're going to put in there and let it sit for about maybe a month or two. And I wondered what you feel about that.
Well, not real happy, tell you the truth. I mean, because it's a really nice car.
What do you think all the other Corvette owners across America are going to be thinking about this when they see it on air?
When you put a dead pig in here, they're going to think you're nuts.
They may be right. Yeah, baby.
Time to take this machine back to the MythBusters workshop and get it ready to rot.
Adios.
That's the last time this thing's going to be driving for a while.
Well, we've got wheels. Now we need squeals. To find a pair of pigs, Jamie and Adam have to go on safari. Welcome to Bischoff's, taxidermists to the stars, supplying stuffed stuff for films and TV. Gary here has an animal for every occasion.
Have our jaguars and our leopards here, and our whole bird area. Some of our favorite stuff is our stand-ins, like this little guy over here, one of our stars you might recognize from one of the movies. It's our little pug. This was Men in Black 2. He's been taxidermied and preserved for the movie industry.
So these things, by and large, are dying of natural causes, then?
Yes, yeah. These animals are all natural causes. We don't go out and get animals and kill them for the movies at all.
He's got little pockets in his claws.
This is a scary freezer. Do you keep a separate freezer for, like food? Popsicles.
Yeah, does anyone have their lunch in there?
Ice cream.
No sign of the other white meat in there. Maybe it's time to pop the question.
We need to get a hold of some pigs for this project that we're doing. Pigs that have died from natural causes.
We'll put in a call and say we need 2, 3 pigs, whatever it is, and they'll search and they'll call us when they come up with it.
We ask Gary for the whole pig. That means the guts, the animal, everything that a pig naturally dies with. Because as it turns out, it's not all that easy to get a hold of that through like a butcher or other things. We want to replicate what a human would be like if that person died in a car.
It's a whole new fashion statement.
A week and a half later, the pigs are here.
Oh. I've got a dead pig in the truck.
They have just died of natural causes on a farm. The funky phase of this experiment is about to begin.
No, I'm gonna tape these up, man. I don't want this touching me anywhere. I'm ready to put on a second painter's suit. We're also gonna test how good these actually are. There we go. I feel ready to tackle the pig.
Oh, yeah.
As the boys struggle to get a grip on their stunt hogs, a nose-withering stench begins to take hold of them, the air, and everything these putrid porkers come near.
Hey.
I think it's already hard to sell this car.
All right, let's close it up.
Well, we'll come back in 3 months and see how it looks.
Not so fast, Adam. There's still a few little ham-fisted hiccups coming your way.
How come the lights are on? Are they pressing on a brake or something?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The pig is pressing on a brake. In fact, I'll say that there's nothing we can do about it.
Rather than face the horror of more pig wrestling, Adam decides to disconnect the battery instead of moving the pig off the brake. It's a shortcut that will come back to haunt him. Next step, seal the vehicle.
That pig's going to be one big bag of maggots, and at some point I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't kind of like start to inflate and then explode, spewing stuff everywhere in the car.
I still don't have a problem with pork. I can go right out tonight and have, you know, some glazed ham.
Damn, it still stinks.
That guy missed the party. He's all like, yo, let me in, dudes. Yo, I know you got some good snacks in there. And they're all like, yo, dudes, we got all our kids in here. We can't let you in.
The Corvette is finally locked and loaded, but there's still a hint of trouble in the air.
Yeah, now, Christ, now I just got a really bad whiff of it.
My main concern is that the car seal them up. I really would just as soon not have that horrific odor in front of my shop for the next 6 months. I don't want the smell getting out of the car.
And right now, Jamie is convinced that smell has broken out and is making a dash for freedom. He reopens the car and tries to seal it even further.
What's going on, hombre?
Hop in, you want to take a ride?
Thanks, but no.
Well, it seems that the car's not as well sealed up as we thought.
Someone's sloppy work is a little stinky, too.
You didn't really do that good of a job of taping it up.
No, I didn't.
The smell, well, it's not like really, really powerful. It's just extremely pervasive. So the tiniest bit of it drives everybody nuts.
The car also has to be moved, and that turns one of their earlier quick fixes into a big problem.
The hardest part about this whole deal is we got to get the little pig off the brake.
We got to get the little pig off the brake?
Yeah.
Oh. Damn.
It's going to be kind of like surgery getting that damn thing out of there. And it's not pretty.
Ah, yeah.
Jamie and Adam thought parking 2 pigs in a car would be easy.
We're going to need more people
But it's turned into a marathon with more to come.
Hey, all right, that's good. Stop. Okay, Elena, I'm going to be lifting that up.
You're going to be licking that up?
Yeah, that's it.
Did he say he's going to be licking that up?
Even taping this Corvette into a modern-day sarcophagus isn't going to be enough for Jamie. Next, he calls in a pyramid for its burial, a hopefully smell-proof shipping container.
We're just turning it hard. Push it back a little further.
That was incredible, you people. Fabulous. I didn't think it was possible.
Ominously crawling around the floor of the container are first maggots, a taste of the trauma to come. For now, the car is sealed and set to stew for 2 months. Will it set a new benchmark for stench? Find out later in the show when the real horror of the stinky car begins.
Woo! This is horrifying.
Roll up for the greatest MythBusters show on Earth. How could a rat up a drain pipe, a roasted toy raccoon, and a sharp-dressed dummy turn into a disaster area? Take your seat as we ride the Raccoon rocket.
In 1998, in Carbon County, Pennsylvania, apparently some good old boys, from the sounds of it, were hanging out on their porch, drinking beer, and they saw a raccoon go by, and so they all opened fire on it.
So they noticed that the raccoon's taken refuge in a drainage pipe. So one of the smart fellows goes over to the drainage pipe and he pours gasoline down there and he tries to light it.
Unsuccessful at doing this, one of them decided to go down into the pipe to better light the gasoline and get the raccoon out, at which point the gasoline actually did ignite and it shot this guy out the tube at a high rate of speed.
He goes shooting straight out of this pipe and he flies about 200 feet right over the house and falls and manages to get up relatively unharmed.
Well, it sounds like we have all the information we need to proceed. What is the plan? Have you got a plan?
Well, we need a big ass pipe, I guess a sewer pipe. It's got to be 20 feet long, 3 feet in diameter. We got to have 5 gallons of gasoline. We have to have some means of igniting it safely from a distance.
I have one more question about this.
What's that?
Which one of us is going to get launched from this pipe?
Well, you, of course.
You know, much as I'd like to do it, it sounds to me like it's a job for Buster.
Buster is the silent partner of the MythBusters team, a long-suffering crash test dummy.
I am making a new knee for the crash test dummy. We have busted him up so fully that both of his knees are completely shattered.
Weighing in at 180 pounds and standing 5 foot 10 inches tall, Buster represents roughly 95% of the United States adult male population. His role is to behave just like a human would in extreme situations, something he excelled at for many years when he crashed cars for a living. Since joining the MythBusters, he's been through hell and high water, all without a word of complaint.
Well, what's next in line for Buster is to put him in a 3-foot pipe with a bunch of gasoline and maybe even gunpowder and see if we can launch him like a cannonball.
Before Buster becomes a cannonball, Jamie and Adam need to find the cannon. That means a trip across town in search of some monster drainage pipe.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
Andy. Adam. Nice to meet you guys.
How you doing?
Oh, pretty good.
I think we're here to pick up some really big pipe.
It's a pipe lover's paradise.
What's this stuff normally used for?
Storm and sewer drain, mostly stormwater.
Bingo! Stormwater drains, 3 feet wide. Exactly the kind of drain a terrified raccoon and its boozy pursuer might stumble down. Adam tries it out for size.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You know, it makes me want to like... All right, that's enough of that.
After a peek at the pipe, Jamie's mustache is twitching.
It's all a whole bunch of stupid stuff.
The more he thinks about this wild raccoon chase, the more he thinks it's the truth that's gone down the drain.
The biggest problem that I see is that you can see that I fit pretty easily in this pipe, and there's a lot of room around me, a lot of air room. And so even if there is a big blast, all this air is just going to go right past me if there's no seal.
Thank you. This is one of the rare occurrences where Jamie and I agree all the way down the line on this. He's right. It's the problems are myriad. The myth is almost patently ridiculous just on its face.
But when there's a hint of flames or explosions in the air, the MythBusters will make it happen.
I think one way or another, we are going to propel that dummy quite energetically out the end of this tube. I don't think it's going to work quite the way the myth says, though.
Let's bring on this raccoon.
Back in the workshop, Adam creates a remote you won't lose under your couch.
I've got this lighter rig, which we've used before on MythBusters. It lights a lighter remotely, and in the past I've always used cable, like bicycle cable, and it's never been quite reliable, so this time I'm going to actually go with a small pneumatic cylinder, which will go and light the lighter that way.
This will let him light the gasoline in the pipe from a safe distance.
It works. Excellent. So, it is the world's most complicated lighter.
Now, fully recovered from knee surgery, Buster needs to be dressed for the occasion. This stylish woolen sweater and slacks outfit will protect our dummy from looking unfashionable and save him from melting. The fabric of choice for firefighters and Formula One drivers, wool is one of the most fireproof fabrics you can wear. It does not melt, and it does not support a flame.
Yeah, you know, I don't think Buster's ever looked so fashionable. I mean, dude, you are looking sharp.
Time to grab a $25.98 toy Raccoon and put this myth to the test. Our firing range is an abandoned airfield on the outskirts of San Francisco. Job number 1, get that pipe into launch position. For this, our boys will need a nice new toy.
I think this is the biggest thing we've driven yet. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah. But does anyone know how to drive this thing?
So did you get any instructions on it?
I did not.
A few quick tips from the backhoe delivery man, and Adam is an instant expert.
This goes side to side to side. You can drop this pin in the center.
Okay.
And it'll
lock it.
Yeah, it'll lock it from going like this. That was fun.
I'm gonna back it up a little bit more.
Yep.
It's like a secret escape hatch.
Woo! Ah! You know, he's taking an awful long time to do this. I think he's having just a bit too much fun.
Finally, our cannon is in position.
Well, we've just covered the pipe with dirt, and so I guess we're going to pour some gasoline down there and light it with the dummy in the tube. We pretty well know that nothing's going to happen.
We'll get a big whoosh of gasoline out of both sides of this tube, but besides that, it's not going to launch this dummy in any way.
The stunt is ready. So where's the fall guy? For extra fireproofing, Buster gets a dressing down with a special flame retardant gel.
Okay, so we're gonna shove him about 3 feet up in there?
Yeah, feet first, because his head's got to be down, like he scooched down the pipe with a lighter and was like, you know, that kind of business.
The scene is set exactly according to the myth. We have one not-so-smart man, Buster, who's crawled down a 3-foot-wide drainage pipe, chasing a raccoon.
Like that. There we go.
Like this?
Yeah.
The raccoon's probably all the way at the very end, you know, up against like a steel grate or something like that. So he's probably like right here, trying to be as threatening as a raccoon soaked with gasoline can be.
Okay.
Let me get my automatic match.
The MythBusters team gets ready for launch. Cameras will cover it from every angle. Sensitive equipment is protected by a bulletproof plastic shield. A baby fire truck is at the ready. And it's Big Daddy, just in case.
Excited, we're gonna blow some stuff up, then we go home.
Now, Jamie adds the final element, 5 gallons of gasoline.
Okay, it's kind of a lot. Oh, it's kind of really a lot. It's a lot of gasoline pouring out of there.
That's it.
That's it. All right, get out of there. Okay, here we go. Standing over here with me, Jamie?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1.
0. Nothing happens.
Tell me if you see it lighting.
Yeah, I don't see any flame.
Seems that pesky raccoon slipped down onto the lighter. He's repositioned, and we are clear for launch.
Okay, here we go. There we go. We have ignition. Put it out now. Go. Well, that wasn't nothing at all.
Nope.
That was like a little campfire.
Well, it probably would have set the whole tube on fire after a while. It singed the heck out of our raccoon.
Let's see how our raccoon did.
That's one piping hot toy raccoon, all right, but not much else, and certainly not enough to satisfy the destructive desires of these two strange men.
The myth is in fact busted.
But there's always two parts to a MythBusters story. There's replicating the myth, and then there's duplicating the result. And we replicated the myth, we got nothing. Now it's time to see what it takes to launch him out of that tube. I think we're gonna have to go back to the shop and think this one through. It's not trivial to turn this 20-foot-long tube into a human cannon. We can't just put gunpowder behind him and hope it'll launch him. It's just gonna blow him up.
Back in the shop, Jamie's mind contorts around a devilish conundrum.
We pretty well know that the dummy's not going to get launched out of the tube, you know, just by sitting there. So we've got to put a container around it that actually remotely seals the dummy in the tube.
He needs to make a tricky device called a sabot. In the world of weaponry, a sabot is used when a specialized bullet or projectile is too small for the barrel of a gun. The sabot fits around the bullet to seal the chamber so the blast from the gunpowder can send it firing out of the barrel. It's hard enough remembering how to say sabot. Now, Jamie has to work out what to make one from.
That's about 2 feet, so darn, that tube's big. It's gonna make me work.
What about stretching a car inner tube around that and inflating that and squeezing that between a couple pieces of ply?
These two professional problem solvers go into the MythBusters mind meld.
Put two of them around there and then they gasket to each other. We fill them just up enough.
Stretch it out onto there. We could probably
back it, I'd say, with one piece of ply.
Around that would make a very dense thing.
Suppose it's just like 4 gaskets of plywood.
Out of the brain blender comes a juicy plan. The sabot will be molded from foam.
Oh, Jamie, that's beautiful.
Easy as pie. But, usually things don't work this easy.
35, geez, you're within a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, seems like it should be perfect. So without this thing, gases would just go past the dummy and not propel him. With it, it blocks the chamber, and hopefully it will carry the dummy with it out of the barrel. The sabot will fall away in its 4 parts as we've designed it, and the dummy will continue on his trajectory.
Let's hope the plan stays on target, because back on the firing range, we are now working with dangerous explosives.
Second circuit, just to the end of the tube here, and then if we have a problem with the first circuit, we'll just tie into this.
Sounds good. So I'll tie this on the first one?
We want to fire a 180-pound projectile 200 feet. So, how much gunpowder will we need? Well, in World War II, the guns of the mighty U.S. battleship Missouri used 660 pounds of explosive powder to launch 2,700-pound projectiles with a range of up to 23 miles. There are no records of Raccoons being present on the USS Missouri.
Back up on the backup. Preparing to launch.
John McLeod normally creates pyrotechnics for Hollywood films. Today, he's cooking up a different kind of blockbuster.
We're using 10 1-pound cans of the GoX black powder. That should give us a pretty good bang.
Buster is locked in the sabot and loaded into the pipe.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby.
Okay, we need a little more push here.
All right, here we go.
Okay, ready? That's good, right?
Well, that's tight, huh?
That's pretty good.
Cue the bomb.
So that's the 10-pounder, isn't it?
It's a 10-pounder.
Don't look like much.
Not until it goes off.
The local geese are heading south to safety.
You think they can tell we're about to blow something up?
John will use an electric detonator to ignite the powder. With the wiring all checked, it's time to seal the end of the pipe.
Look at that, that's perfect. All right, I'm gonna bury it.
The pipe must be plugged to direct the force from the blast towards Buster and send him out the other end of the tube. Will it work? That's in the lap of the gunpowder gods.
I think the worst thing that could happen was it would rupture the back end of the tube and maybe shoot dirt and sand and possibly little rocks.
It's also, I'd say, 50% likely that it stays back there in the tube and the whole thing just blows up. That's totally acceptable to me as well.
The whole damn thing could blow up for all we know, but our best shot is that it's going to come out of there, and it's going to come out really fast, and it's going to look really cool.
Jamie is so confident, he's parking Buster's wheelchair right where he thinks he'll land.
Jamie, you hoping to catch him?
Yeah.
All right, that's about the most optimistic thing I've ever heard. If you catch him, I'll give you $100.
Okay, let's put this Big Bang Theory into practice.
You got some? You want to put some protection on there?
I think I'm all right.
He thinks he's all right.
Firing in 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God!
I almost made the chair.
You almost made the chair.
We've got two very excited MythBusters on our hands.
He survived! Buster survived! Oh! Woo!
Came out there with some horsepower, didn't it?
How you feeling, buddy?
It worked absolutely perfectly. I was off by about 5 or 10 feet.
Buster heroically executed a textbook superhero-style exit from the cannon.
Oh my God!
You know, I got to say, I think we planned this whole thing really well. The sabot worked. He did launch a significant distance out of the barrel.
The myth says 200 feet that the guy lived. I tell you, watching that dummy land, there's no way he would have lived at that distance, let alone that distance again. This myth is just, I mean, complete and utter lunacy to think that it's true. Well, Buster, how you feeling, man? What do you think? Raccoon rocket, true or busted? What do you think, Jamie?
I'd say it's pretty effectively busted. You know, we would have died if we'd been in Buster's place, that's for sure.
Man, he is a little worse for wear.
You've heard the fairy tale of the 3 little pigs, right? Well, in this myth-busting moral, one got away, and the other 2 have been quietly decomposing in a 1987 Corvette for 2 months. Huffing and puffing? You bet. The moment Jamie and Adam open the doors of that car. And it might be the MythBusters house that gets blown down. They're testing the myth that if someone dies in a car, it can get so stinky you can't clean it and you can't sell it. Time to call in an expert in extreme cleaning. Neil Smither runs a business called Crime Scene Cleaners.
It's a cleaning maintenance service specializing in biohazard, primarily homicides, suicides, accidental deaths. We're really known now for doing just extreme cleanups, stuff other people just won't mess with.
He knows exactly what the stinky car of the myth would smell like.
And that smell, you can taste it. You just can't even describe it. It's such a unique flavor, but you know instantly what it is.
Time for Jamie and Adam to get their hands dirty on a training run with the Crime Scene Cleaners.
We're here cleaning up a coroner's van.
I expect to learn a lot about their protocol, how they approach moving through a vehicle to find the smells, and I think that's going to be invaluable to cleaning out the Corvette.
That's not residue from melted popsicles, you know? It's the real deal.
I'm afraid I'm not quite as enthusiastic as the owner of this company is about this kind of work, but it'll be interesting.
Let's start with cleaning the top of it.
Have you heard the myth of the stinky car that can't be sold?
I have heard that. It's a fallacy. Totally.
What was that?
It's a fallacy.
You can get the smell out? Wait a minute. Now that's a big news flash for Jamie and Adam.
So what you're telling me is that there's no smell that you can't get out, is that right?
Yeah, I think if you clean it correctly, there's no smell that we can't get out so far. And we've done some radical smells.
There's a methodical, meticulous approach to this kind of cleaning.
Thanks. Knock yourself out.
All right.
Any speck of scum that's missed will keep on stinking. The boys have discovered that Neil uses a special enzyme-based cleaner to wipe out really bad smells.
The enzyme secret mix that we haven't been informed the contents of.
This may just hold the key to getting the Corvette clean. The enzymes create a chemical reaction with organic materials, speeding up their breakdown into smaller, simpler pieces. Just like the enzymes in your saliva start breaking down food from the first bite.
It's hot.
This warm-up bout with the crime scene cleaners is a success. Invaluable training for Jamie and Adam's upcoming fight against the funk.
Well, it's really helpful to talk to a professional about this kind of thing. We just kind of go in and start doing it.
I thought the myth was entirely possible and plausible when I first heard it. But talking to Neil and seeing how well this stuff works, I think we might be able to clean this car out, and it might not smell at all.
Either it is cleanable with the enzyme or it gets ripped out, and we will get that car clean.
Brave words.
We will get that car clean. We will get that car clean.
So, let's put that confidence to the test. It's been 2 months since this car was turned into a stink bomb. Now, it's Judgment Day. Time to terminate any fresh air on the MythBusters doorstep and open that awful container. Watching on is the nose that always knows, Neil, the extreme cleaner.
I'm catching whiffs here and there, and it's pretty typical. I'll have a better indicator once we get in, but right now it just smells like standard death.
All right, well.
Oh, man.
And while our rookie cleaners look like they're ready to enter Chernobyl, the pro calmly knocks back even a nose clip.
No, I'm okay. It's not that bad.
Now the car has to be rolled out of the container and into the yard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's foul. They're not gonna bite.
You should see the comments.
Climb in.
All right. Here we go.
Go for it, Heineman. Oh, man.
Well, one thing that bothers me is that it's raining in there. Like any place that I move around, I'm like gonna get covered with, I hope these things are waterproof. Are these waterproof?
Not really. I mean, those are more than anything else. I would just hurry up, just get it done.
Oh, my God. That is horrible.
The pig's sort of like sealing off the whole area. It's like flowed over the parking brake.
He's gonna have to think awfully fast, coated with gore.
All right, removing the sandbag here.
Yeah.
Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes.
Then, an unforeseen drama. The decaying pigs have given off ammonia, a potentially fatal gas that almost overcomes Jamie.
Woo! How you doing, Jamie?
It's the ammonia. It's not the smell. I was not getting any air. It's not a spew. I was going to pass out.
Because the Corvette was sealed so carefully, the gas was trapped and concentrated inside the car.
I stopped.
Oh, man.
It's the ammonia. It's not, the filter's not handling it. I need a separate air source.
Oh, my God.
This thing was useless.
As the whole grotesque reality of this car lover's catastrophe hits home, the MythBusters are reeling. Jamie looks like he's about to pass out. And our own Mr. Confidence is going a little weak at the knees.
No way. No way. There's no way we're cleaning this thing. This is horrifying.
I think, having to get in there and close the car with these two remnants of creatures was probably one of the more horrible things I've ever had to do.
What's the worst thing you can imagine?
Okay, Adam.
I can't get past this. Oh, it's disintegrating. Oh.
The ever-helpful Neil is just glad it's not him.
I would just put a bunch of paper towels in and let the paper towels soak up as much of that liquid as you can, because you're going to have to get in there.
Yeah.
You know, literally laying down to get to the bolts. Are you going to lay in that puddle?
I really, you know, I won't be sad when this day is over.
This is a severe cleanup, no doubt about it.
Oh, man. Oh. Oh, God.
They're not prepared for this cleanup at all.
I gotta say, this respirator works really good, because the smell even from over here is horrifying. Oh, my glasses are all, I'm gonna move over here.
When you pull the seats, you better have something to contain them, because they're going to pour liquid.
The carpets, the seats, the door panels, all history. And there's a lot of work left.
Well, we got all of the wet stuff out of there. There's still little dribbles here and there, but, you know, shoot, we must have removed about 300-400 pounds of wet something.
I have to say, I didn't expect that this would happen, but I see myself as a vegetarian for at least the next couple of weeks.
Don't want to do that again.
Now, Jamie and Adam try out the tip they got from Neil, the crime scene cleaner, using a special bioenzyme fluid to cut through all the organic gunk. They're praying this might give them an edge in the war on stinkiness.
The quantity of flies has decreased. We've been doing something.
Well, I know we've been doing something.
Something the flies don't like.
Something's really bad right here.
Now it smells like a diaper, a really bad diaper.
If my baby's poo smelled like that, I'd take him to the hospital immediately.
After a full day of frantic, forensic scrubbing, the boys are coming to grips with a grim possibility. Corvette lovers, cover your ears. This car may never drive again.
Are we actually cleaning a car to get the stink out, or are we just removing all the stinky bits and ending up with a parts car?
Seats were so bad that they were just falling apart. So what are you going to do? If they cost $6 grand, the car's not worth that.
I think we can get the stink out, but I'm not sure that we end up with something that's really a car.
We can safely say one part of this story is true.
It is possible for somebody to die in a car and ruin it.
But can it be completely clean?
Even Neil said it would take his boys several days to get rid of every last thing and put it back together again.
There's no doubt in my mind that we could resurrect the car. The only question is whether it's practical or not.
I mean, the place where I think you would never get it out is like all the air conditioning system and the ducts and stuff. I know all that stinks. We could clean the car perfectly and be like, it's done. And we turn on the AC and be like, ah, you know.
Given the way the car smells now, even selling it for parts is going to be pretty difficult.
I tell you, if I took one drop of the juice we cleaned up yesterday and put it in your car, you'd want to sell your car.
So what's the final verdict from the MythBusters? Jamie would be quite happy never to see that car again.
Oh, man, that is nasty.
That myth's busted. There's no way you're going to sell the car after that.
You know, Jamie, I want to get away from this smell as much as you do, but unfortunately, we said we'd make a stinky car, that we'd try and clean it out, and that we'd sell it. So we got to go through the third phase. We got to try and sell that car, even if it's only for parts.
Bummer.
1 week after an infernal cleanup, it's time to sell. But will they find a buyer?
Knowing how bad it was, it's not nearly that bad. But it's worse than anything anybody else but me and Jamie have ever smelled.
Smells more like a barnyard now.
No, the smell hasn't gone, and the car isn't going anywhere either.
What is that? Ready?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm not sure I'm getting any power at all to anything. I really would be helpful to get it started to sell it.
The fuse box is fried.
Yeah, this is all corroded. It's all green in here.
Maybe some more scrubbing will work.
How is this doing over here? I'm gonna try and start it again. I'm not getting squat. Are you sure it's hooked up?
Yep.
Positive and all that?
You bet.
Adam is ready to raise the white flag.
Now we push.
But Jamie is determined to get this car started.
It's just a little bit of corrosion is all we're talking about. It's a real simple thing if we can find the spot.
Like the engine's fine. We should be able to sell it better if the engine's running.
You know, you can't really ask a lot of money for a car that doesn't start with no interior.
If I can find the starter solenoid, then we can jump it.
It's a total Jamie thing to like pursue these avenues that seem completely ridiculous and end up with total success. It's really unnerving.
Eventually, Jamie admits defeat.
You gonna help push?
No, I was gonna watch from up here. You guys doing any work at all? I think I'm carrying this whole thing.
It seems like we trashed this car, and that's all we did. Like, we put some pigs in it, it ruined the car, and it's junk.
I think the question is, how much money can we get for a big piece of stinking junk?
Not very much.
Let's clean it, close it, sell it off.
It won't start, and it stinks of dead pig, but it will look good. Time to place an ad on the internet to entice some buyers with an unbelievably cheap '87 Corvette.
All right, so we want to sell this car. What should be in the ad?
Well, I guess we should just list the good things about it. It's like shiny, it's got a good finish on it.
Shiny.
It's got good wheels and tires.
It's a great parts car. We lost the interior.
Yeah, we just lost it.
Hidden cameras are set up to secretly record the reactions of unsuspecting buyers. So, who will buy this slightly soiled vehicle? Maybe a die-hard Corvette lover.
I didn't know it was gutted.
Yeah, well...
Is that how you bought it?
No, don't like that, huh?
Jamie will have to do the hard sell on this one.
I mean, we're only asking
Yeah.
$3,000 for it. You could, yeah. So you could take it for parts. The wheels alone are worth like $700-800, and still not impressed.
No, I wonder how much that smells seeped into the fiberglass.
No sale. The guy from the junkyard has a sniff.
Jesus, that stinking. Right.
Well, I think it's worth about $500.
Well, we're definitely going to wait for better offers than that.
So does it even start?
How about this gentleman?
So is there an interior for it?
No.
What's that smell?
He seems kind of interested.
How many miles does it have?
It's got I think it's got a $250,000, but it's only 50,000 on on this engine.
Well, I'll let you know if I'm interested.
All right.
After sleeping on it, he becomes our buyer.
Yes, sir. What are you going to do with the car?
We're probably going to part it out. I'm interested in the engine and the transmission.
The stinky car is going cheap.
There's a couple of things.
Only $2,000.
There's the title and the keys.
But at least it's finally gone.
So there you go, man. No shortage of buyers. I don't think that there's a car in the world that's too stinky to sell.
If somebody dies in a car, it can easily get so bad in there that you're not going to just kind of wash it with some Windex and some stuff like that and be able to sell it like it was.
I think we busted both halves of this one.
I guess we did, didn't we?
I still can't get that taste out of my mouth, though.
God, what a horrible thing that was.
Absolutely.
Horrible.
Horrifying. Horrifying.
That was something else. I'll remember that the rest of my life.
In this episode of MythBusters, it's the magic of movies on trial. You've seen this at the movies before, but can it happen in real life? And remember this scene from the film American Graffiti. We go on patrol with remote control and put Hollywood illusions to the test. Plus, what happens when you use a bullet instead of a fuse?
Did we fire off a bullet?
Who are the MythBusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage.
I always enjoyed seeing Adam in pain.
Oh! And Jamie Heineman.
Jamie wants big boom.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
Still kind of sexy.
They don't just tell the myths.
Farewell, cruel.
They put them to the test. You know a rock band has made it when they get their own private jet. The MythBusters know they've made it when they get to destroy their own private jet. Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts as we test the myth of explosive decompression.
The myth is that if you are in an aircraft at altitude and you poke a tiny hole in the exterior of the plane, will you get sucked out through that hole and potentially cause an explosive decompression?
You mean like in the movies when you see like the whole cabin, like, everyone's like going towards the hole?
That's it.
Cool.
Well, this narrative's been around for years, probably as long as high-altitude flying has been around. This also comes from this, dual fear of flying and guns. Two things that can kill you, two things that you have little control over. So, you see this image enough, and we've probably seen it dozens of times in film. It does become rather real. It's a pretty startling image.
I think most people are thinking about a gun with this myth. And so we're going to have to buy a pistol and put a remote firing mechanism on it, a motor of some sort that we can operate from outside the aircraft so that we don't have to be in there when this happens.
Jamie has bought a 9mm handgun for the experiment. He has a hunch about what he needs to do.
And these things are taken out of vending machines for soda, and this is the motor that actually launches the can of soda down out of the reservoir and into the slot.
But this is a troublesome little challenge.
That'll work.
And soon we can't reach Jamie. He is like a myth-busting monk in his trance-like problem-solving state. Then the way becomes clear and the rig takes shape. It's an ingenious device. As the gear finger goes round, it can repeatedly fire the pistol.
Seems like it's working. It fired it.
The MythBusters have taken the first step on a long, difficult journey. The normal cruising altitude of a passenger jet is around 35,000 feet. Humans can't survive at that height, so planes are built to be pressurized. Onboard compressors pump in air to replicate the atmospheric pressure of a lower, more habitable altitude, usually 6,000 to 7,000 feet. It's the difference between the air pressure inside and outside of the plane that creates the environment for an explosive decompression. A hole in the plane will be like a hole in a balloon. The air will try and rush from the area of high pressure inside to the area of low pressure outside.
We've calculated that the differential in pressure between the inside of the aircraft and the outside at altitude is about 8 psi.
To replicate the myth, the boys need to pressurize a plane to 8 pounds per square inch. Adam has found their test subject already, a DC-9 passenger jet.
Actually, this is a plane that's being salvaged. And so they would go into it and pull out all the stuff that they can resell, the avionics, the cockpit windows, the chairs, the bathrooms, and then they'd scrap the rest of it.
It's a big plane though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like over 100 feet long, this thing. It's definitely not small. We're gonna have some fun.
It's a full-size jet airliner.
Yeah.
A full-size jet airliner won't fit in Jamie's workshop. so the workshop goes on the road. This is the Mojave Desert, north of Los Angeles. Out here, low rainfall plus low humidity equals low corrosion, a perfect solution for storing aircraft. This is a giant parking lot for the world's airlines. Most of these planes will fly again. Some will land on the scrap heap.
You know, the more time I spend around planes, the more they absolutely mystify me. I'd be a terrible airplane designer because I'd look at it and I'd go, yeah, like that's ever getting off the ground.
This retired DC-9 once flew for Hawaiian Airlines. Now its wings are clipped, and it's slowly being recycled for parts. But first, it will become the MythBusters Explosive Decompression Laboratory.
When do you ever get to do this? This is so cool.
Wow. Oh, that's cool.
This is where the pilot sits. So many little doodads and gewgaws and doohickeys. I've always wanted to close one of these.
Trying to pressurize the plane right now would be like trying to inflate a fishing net. There's a few holes that need to be plugged first.
That was an antenna. You can see it was bolted in.
The biggest problem is up here in the cockpit.
You can see there are no windscreens in this plane. This is going to be my task for the next few hours, is cutting out cardboard templates of each of these windows and then make those out of plywood, pop them in and foam them. Hopefully that'll get us the pressure that we want.
Working in the desert heat isn't easy.
We've been crawling through this magnificent DC-9 here, trying to find all of its holes and plug them up, which is not that difficult a task if it wasn't like 105 degrees in the shade.
The people that work on these airplanes here indicate that we're not going to be able to seal this thing up.
We're almost done. We're almost done with this cockpit. Dry to the touch in 60 seconds, set hard in 5 minutes. And over here is one I've previously prepared.
We're actually having some fun working on this. You know, it's interesting to see how these things are built. I'm installing the pressure gauge onto the emergency escape window.
This gauge will be critical during the experiment. Once it reaches 8 pounds per square inch, we know the difference between the pressure inside and outside of the cabin is exactly the same as it would be at 35,000 feet. It will be time to fire the gun. The plane seems to be sealed and ready, so Jamie and Adam put it to the test. To fill something this large with compressed air, you need a big compressor. And they don't get much bigger than this.
Looks like it ought to be able to fly by itself with those big outputs.
Yeah, I know.
This is a huffer. Normally, it's used to start the engines on a 747.
Now on unload, it's just venting all of its air out the roof. And you go to jet start, and it puts every last bit of it into that hose.
Sounds dangerous.
Apparently, if the huffer coupler came off while it was pressurized, it'd pretty much take your head off.
Before there's any huffing and puffing, Jamie gives his signature safety speech.
Signed, sealed. Let's deliver it.
People and equipment are shielded with metal cages and bulletproof plastic.
Clear and keep serious because I've got the thing on and running.
A remote camera is feeding pictures of the pressure gauge to a monitor. Jamie will call out the readings to Adam. The cabin pressure is starting to rise. But the plane is leaking like a sieve.
Guys, we have a problem with pressurization. We're going to fill a few holes that we found some leaks in. So stand by, it'll take about 10 minutes.
Oh, these holes here?
Yeah, each one of those has to be filled.
Okay, everybody, the holes are filled. We're good to go. Positions, please.
PSI, 3, 4, 5, and we're at 6 PSI. Then trouble.
What happened?
We've got a blowout on one of the cockpit windows.
We got up to 6.5 PSI on that. We're within spitting distance of our goal.
But what was that black bag we saw flying over the plane?
Both pilot seats have a plastic bag on them. And this is a very tiny hole, and if a black plastic bag made it past that, that's explosive decompression.
Another quick patch, another try.
The whole piece?
And that's why aircraft windows are built from 3/4-inch bulletproof glass and not plywood and foam. One of the pilot seats was sucked out of the plane and blown over 200 yards away.
Is that?
It was between the one on the fence and the next one in.
Oh my God.
I thought it was a piece
Let's
of
go
plywood.
see Jamie. That's the seat from the pilot's chair.
Yeah.
And that's what's left of the plywood. I'm surprised, and I'm a little concerned.
The cockpit windows are going to take a little more work, but that's a job for tomorrow. Next morning, Adam continues his battle to seal and secure the cockpit windows. Reservations are unusually low for this experimental flight.
Getting kind of tired of lugging Buster around.
Our only passenger has just arrived. A shy, quiet man named Buster.
Come on. You've had one too many. Sit down.
Next, Jamie mounts and aims his 9mm handgun.
You gotta be extra careful with this thing, that it's nice and secure. And after all, it is a remote-controlled gun, and guns can kill people. I'd say that's pretty good. I'm loading the gun. Okay, guys, the gun is loaded.
Foam packing peanuts are spread around to see if they will be sucked out of the plane by explosive decompression.
Let's blow some stuff up.
Okay.
It's earmuffs on, huffer on. As the pressure rises once again, Jamie monitors the gun through a remote camera. We reach 8 pounds per square inch. He activates the remote firing control and shoots a hole in the skin of the jet. The plane doesn't tear open. And apart from a puff of compressed air escaping, nothing dramatic happens.
You know, it did make a hole in the fuselage, and we were at the correct pressure, and I notice our packing peanuts are still in place, and so is Buster. The plane did not explosively decompress.
Yep. Perfect. And just plug that sucker right up. Well, we did it there, little buddy.
Don't call me little buddy. Yeah, you know, we pressurized the DC-9. They said it wasn't possible, and with a little foam and a little ingenuity, I think we did an admirable job here. I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, it held the pressure, and the gun rig worked. Just like clockwork.
The next experiment is to see if a bullet fired at a window will cause it to blow out.
I'm re-aiming and reloading the gun, so nobody walk in front of the plane from now on.
Starting the huffer.
The jet is pressurized. Jamie prepares to recreate the scenario we've seen in many movies, a gun firing inside a plane. Will it cause explosive decompression? Jamie pulls the remote trigger. The gun fires. But nothing happens.
Well, that didn't seem to do much at all, did it?
Dead center in the window, though.
Nicely aimed.
Our high-speed camera shows the bullet's impact with the plastic window, but no reaction from Buster.
The bullet went straight through. Clearly, Buster did not. No explosive decompression here.
I think we definitively showed that a small puncture hole, either in the fuselage or in a window of a plane, is not going to cause the plane to explosively decompress, and you will not be sucked through that little hole.
Well, the myth is definitely busted. Small holes ain't gonna do it. So now it's time to see what happens with a big hole.
Later in the show, we put the explosive in explosive decompression.
Starting the huffer.
MythBusters experiments are meant to be fun. But doing donuts with a remote control cop car? What excuse could they cook up for this? It's a myth called rear axle.
This is really a Hollywood myth that we've got here, you know, busting what's possible in the physical world and what's possible in the Hollywood world. This comes from a movie in the early 70s called American Graffiti, about kids in the late 50s. And in the movie, one of the actors plays a trick on a cop car. He takes some cable, puts one loop around a pole, and the other end wraps it around the rear axle of a police car. And he takes off in front of the car. And as the police car goes to chase him, reaches the end of the cable, and the rear axle is yanked completely out of the cop car. That's what we've got to duplicate.
When will the fun ever stop?
Okay, Adam, how are we going to do it? What do we need?
Well, it's actually a pretty simple shopping list for this one. We need a police car, we need the materials to make it remote control, we need about 75 feet of cable, a pole to lash it to, and a couple hundred feet of running space.
The police weren't too happy about handing over one of their highway patrol cars. So we've got a Hollywood stunt double, a cop car copy, from top to bottom.
This is the back seat of a cop car with the spaces for your arms to be behind your back. And in fact, when you sit in it like that, you'd find that it's really pretty amazingly comfortable.
Now I know what it'll be like when I finally get arrested.
Now it's rigged for remote control.
Go ahead and gingerly.
Jamie has wrapped his recycling brain around the steering.
This thing is an electric motor off of a wheelchair, and we're going to use that to drive the police car.
It takes a bit of work, but these guys know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, I've got a hot ember on my crotch.
Pretty soon, we're ready to take our police cruiser out to the MythBusters testing range. Our urban legend expert, Heather Joseph Witham, says the story of the rear axle is a reminder of simpler times.
I think the reason people like it now is because it's the hijinks of an earlier era. Nobody gets hurt. It's really funny. It's good, clean fun. It makes you think that there was a more innocent era where you could do things and not go to jail and not worry about the consequences.
This is where we will try and rip the rear axle from our police car. An empty dockyard with plenty of room for Jamie to make sure the car is running properly.
I'm gonna have to get a turn doing that.
Apart from the mustaches, these two haven't changed much since elementary school.
Come on, it's my turn. What, you think I'm getting out of this thing? Not.
He's not as good at it as I am.
We could just sit here and do this all day.
All right, back to science. You've got the brake set up so that it fails safe, right? As soon as it would get out of range from you, the brake goes on, right?
Okay, well, we'll try to do that.
A runaway driverless police car is one danger. The other is this steel cable.
My guess is it's going to break, and when that happens, it's going to snap. And when it snaps, it could probably, like, cut somebody in half.
So crew and equipment are tucked into the MythBusters' trusty Lexan safety shelter. The cable will be tied to this telephone pole.
Can we measure 75 feet from the pole?
Sure.
I'm standing right here at 75 feet.
This is where the cable will end and the chaos will begin.
You think Buster's gonna be our driver?
Well, yeah, I think it's another job for Buster.
You ready, buddy? We got a police uniform for you. It's gonna look like one of the village people.
We've got one more critical check before starting the experiment.
Are you ready for your test, Jimmy?
I'm all set.
Well, let's take it for a spin.
Jamie has to start the car and put it into gear manually. After that, accelerator, steering, and brakes are all in his remote control. But maybe not his complete control. Oh, watch it, Jamie.
Why don't I put it in reverse there, Heine? Did you forget where the brake was?
Can you do a donut, man? Come on, let's do donuts.
We'll see.
Jamie's still getting up to speed. Now, did someone order some donuts?
Watch out for the fire hydrant. Oh, that is sexy. An empty car doing donuts and a police car with its lights flashing. Now I checked, there's nothing more fun than that.
You just know what's coming next.
So can I drive it around a little bit? I won't do donuts, I promise.
It's a delayed thing. You can ruin the car real quick. Okay, so the main thing is the most awkward thing is the brake because it's a delay.
This is Adam and Jamie's childhood dream times 10.
It's a remote control police car with lights.
Be ready to go for the brake. Back to zero.
There you go. That's all I wanted to do. I'm going to assemble the cable. So I'm going to get the cable on the hardware. I'm going to drop it about 4 feet from the pole over here and assemble it.
75 feet of cable, 5/16 of an inch thick. Adam checks for tangles and ties it to the telephone pole.
We're ready to go. I can't wait to see what happens.
Our stunt patrol car rolls into takeoff position.
If you put it in park, shut it down, I'll put on the cable. Here we go.
Adam loops the cable round the rear axle. Just like in the movie, Officer Buster is unaware his car is being tampered with.
Basically, it's around the right side rear axle.
We're wired and ready. But can our cable pull the plug on the rear axle? Find out later in the show.
Okay, Bubba, what do we got?
Well, Thurston, we got a good one today. We got frog gigging.
Frog what?
Frog gigging.
That's hunting frogs to the rest of us.
Apparently a couple of good old boys on their way back from a late night round of frog gigging, their headlights go out. They determine that it's a blown fuse, and they also determine that a .22 caliber bullet is the perfect replacement for said fuse.
That's clever.
So it would seem, until 20 miles later, the bullet heats up enough to fire and hit the driver in some very private parts, at which point he loses control of his truck, hits a tree off the side of the road. Both guys survived, but the driver needed surgery.
The internet turned this story into an urban myth.
In 1996, an internet story appeared that purported to be from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. The title was True Life Redneck Tale. If you name something that has authority like a newspaper, then that makes it even all the more plausible. Now in this case, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette got all sorts of flack for this story, and they had to print an article saying that they never printed the original article.
So what do you think we're gonna need for this, Jamie?
First thing we've got to do is find a pickup, and it has to have this kind of fuse in it.
The old kind of glass-style fuse that's shaped like a bullet, you mean?
Yeah, that's the one.
Jamie and Adam head off on a hunting trip of their own.
So, Jamie, you're from Indiana. What the hell is frog gigging?
Well, you get a spear and a flashlight, and you go out and you spear frogs with it. I think the flashlight kind of dazes them or something. I used to do it when I was a kid, but it was just for fun.
Did you eat them?
No, just a mean little teenage boy.
So it was killing?
Killing frogs, yeah.
All right.
This is one of their happiest hunting grounds, the junkyard.
Stop! Bingo, Jamie. We got one.
There are pickups by the truckload, but bagging the right type of fuse facing the right way, well, that isn't as easy as spearing frogs in a pond.
This Mitsubishi appears to have the closest thing out of all the pickups that we've looked at to a fuse that's aimed directly at the driver. I think that's the best we're going to do. I'm going to pull it out.
$5 for a simple antenna. It's electric. That makes 15.
The junkyard junkies were only looking for a fuse box, but it's turned into quite a shopping spree. No one's going home empty-handed.
Well, that's what we need for the show, but this is what I came out with.
The boys have decided to install this retro fuse box from the junkyard into Jamie's old pickup.
Oh, yeah. We're burning rubber now. Hey, baby, you want to ride, huh?
Adam gets to work wiring the circuit, while Jamie rigs up the fuse box.
I pulled this one out, and I'm going to crimp onto that.
And then put it back in?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, here we go. All right, so that's the main feed to the battery.
Yeah.
Battery's hot. Hey, they both worked. All right.
Cool.
These are the .22 caliber bullets used in the Myth. As replacement fuses, they work.
Check this out.
Almost like it was made to fit in the fuse holder.
Yeah, it actually snugs right in there.
All right.
You know, I don't think it'd be that bad of an idea as long as you didn't get a short.
The truck is ready. If the bullet goes off, a high-speed camera will record its path by the microsecond. Time for Buster, our professional crash test dummy, to get behind the wheel. Jamie and Adam will be trying to fire live ammunition here. And taking a hit in the pants from a bullet is one part of the Myth they don't want to recreate. Bulletproof shields go up in front of the truck, and a remote switch is wired to the circuit from a safe distance.
So, we've got our circuit wired up, that the headlights go on by themselves through the fuse box. We've got our remote activation switch. I think it's time to put the bullet in the fuse box. Have you got one?
I have a bullet.
All right, here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, this is the first test just with how the bullet does.
With the lights on.
Yeah.
This does prove one part of the Myth. The headlights are on. A bullet will complete the circuit.
They went for 20 miles, which I guess means about 20 minutes. So let me get you an alligator clip. We've got a stopwatch. When it's quarter after.
Yeah.
While the truck goes for an imaginary drive, Adam has a very real nap.
So Adam, it's been a solid 20 minutes.
Well, given that nothing's happened, I think we could give it another 10 minutes.
Just to be sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long and utterly uneventful trip home for Buster.
It's been about 30 minutes. I think we're ready to check it out. You want to disconnect and I'll go read the temperature on our bullet?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, do it from a distance for...
Yeah. No, I'm not going to put my eye up to it or anything. So I got a temperature off the bullet of about 113 degrees. Nothing real special there.
It gets hotter than that in the summer in a car, and bullets don't often go off that way.
Okay, so what could set that bullet off?
When a fuse blows, there's usually a good reason for it. You know, it just doesn't do it by itself. My guess would be that there would be a short.
So you say we just short right across the bullet from the battery?
Yeah, let's bypass the light bulbs and see whether we can get the bullet to go off, if anything works that well.
A short circuit is when the electricity coursing through the wires of a circuit is diverted to a shorter path, usually one that allows much more current to flow through it. That's when a fuse would normally give way and stop the dangerously high current.
So I'm going to short across the leads of one of the headlights.
We're about to cause a flat short right across the circuit, and that will either heat up the bullet, set off the bullet, or it will fry the wiring.
No matter what, never connect red to black. All right, well, this ought to work. Be a short, I'm pretty sure.
Ready?
Ready when you are.
Should start. Yeah, there's the smoke.
Cool.
See it?
Yeah, wiring fried. That's a bona fide short. Obviously, you didn't get the bullet hot enough.
There it is.
Let's see. Oh, look at that. That's yummy looking. The next step that I see is to take the heaviest gauge wire that we'd find in a car and run this short again and see if that gets the bullet hot enough.
The heavier wire will carry more heat to the fuse box. But will the bullet get hot enough to fire before the wire fails?
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Hey! Did we fire off a bullet?
We fired off the bullet.
Oh, thank God, that's excellent.
I smell gunpowder.
You smell gunpowder?
I know that smell.
Let's see.
It went off.
Ah, bullet is missing. Oh, look at that. You're loving this. There's the cartridge. It's almost like the cartridge in the bullet exploded like this, and the cartridge went into the rubber mat of the floor, and the bullet seems to have gone that way. We haven't found it yet, but we're gonna do a few more tests, pull the dummy out and take a look at it and see where the bullets went. Jamie, can I try it this time? Can I blow the bullet up? Can I? I'd really like to try.
Shut up and set the bullet off.
This is fun.
Just like clockwork.
Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Okay, give me another one. Here, you grab one, I'll grab the other. We'll do like a Wonder Twins one.
Okay.
There we go. All right, ready. I'm impressed with how fast this works.
Turns out to be a pretty effective way of setting off a bullet. It's not lethal, I don't think.
But you know, the thing is, there was nothing in the myth that said that he took a lethal hit. I mean, I have to say, if I put a bullet in a fuse box and 20 minutes later I hear a bang and I feel something smack into my groin, I'm gonna freak out and run the car right off the road.
Buster has faced the fuse box firing squad 10 times. Let's see if that broadside made a mark. The high-speed camera shows at least one bullet shooting towards Buster's bits. Warped and twisted by the firing, some of the shells also turned into threatening pieces of shrapnel.
I laugh every time I do that.
Jamie takes a closer look and makes a startling discovery.
Oh, look at that. That wasn't there before. See that? One of those bullets at least shot a hole in his pants. And there's actually there's another bullet hole down here and here.
While those pants are full of holes, Jamie can't find any signs of damage on the dummy's legs or torso.
I don't think that those bullets had enough force to really do anything. I bet if you were a real person, you'd probably have some pretty nasty little bruises. That's about it. Well, we set off quite a few bullets. It worked.
Oh, no, that was a lot of fun. I had no idea that would go off so easily.
Yeah, but we did have to short circuit it. We had to use heavier than the normal wire that was installed in the truck. We had to line up the fuse box in exactly the right position.
No, it's obvious that an extraordinary sequence of events would have to occur for this to happen. But given how easily they went off with heavier than average wiring and the decrepit state of some people's pickup trucks, I still think it's possible that this could happen.
I'd agree, it's possible. Unlikely, but possible.
I'd say myth busted for now, but still out there waiting to happen.
seen in the film American Graffiti. But can the MythBusters do it for real? We've got a remote-controlled police car tied to a telephone pole. Will we remove the rear axle? Let's go.
Everybody ready?
Yep, ready.
Jamie starts the engine and runs to his safe driving post on top of this building.
Okay. Get ready to goose the throttle.
Our police car is off in hot pursuit. The cable whips into one of the cameras. And driving blind, Jamie pulls off a remarkable remote-controlled stop. Inches from disaster.
Your stopping was beautiful.
So it snapped at the pole, huh?
Yeah, it looks like it's dragging the cable. Looks like it snapped at the pole. I think we need a stronger cable.
It turns out the cable hasn't snapped. It's simply come undone.
Yeah, nothing broke. I think the next time we have to either duct tape it or, I brought some of that binder wire.
Yeah, I think we should definitely bind it with wire when we get back there.
Yeah.
Shall we reset the car?
Yeah, everything's fine, fortunately.
I'll tell you when to go, Jamie. All right. Good, nice, perfect.
The cable actually did what we were afraid it was going to do, and it's actually quite dangerous because it, it whipped way off to the side. It took out one of our high-speed cameras. If a person had been in there in that same position, it would have taken them out as well.
Of course I could have hooked it up better. But just about anybody else would have made the same mistake that I did, don't you think?
This little guy won't be unhooking next time.
Okay. I got some wire, I got a hook, I got a leather jacket I no longer care about. Here we go.
The other end of the cable gets the same treatment. We're calling that first attempt a test run. Nothing was really proved or disproved. This run will be the real deal.
Come on, yeah. Isn't television glamorous? Let's see, 70% that the cable does break, but before it does enough damage to the car we can't do a second test at all. 20% that it actually breaks but doesn't do any damage to the car, we can do a second test, weaken the axle, etc. 10%, it works perfectly, yanks the axle right out of the car. I believe if you add those numbers up, they come to 100%.
We have a remote-controlled police car with its axle tied to a telephone pole by 75 feet of cable. Let's step on the gas. This time, the cable really snaps.
That's spectacular. I should point out that the cable has a braking load of 15,000 pounds. I would say right there, that would be myth busted, definitively. Big cable, bigger than even I thought was the one used in the movie, still snapped. It's a standard Ford chassis, not dissimilar at all from what they had back then. Myth busted.
And what about Adam's bold pre-test predictions?
Yes, okay, so I was off with my percentages. I gave what happened here a 30% chance of happening.
20, in fact.
No, 30. 70%, 20%, 10%. No, that wasn't me. That was somebody else.
That was you.
I said 50, 40, 10. 70%, 20%, 10%. I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Okay, so what's the plan now?
Now, what we do is what we do on every myth. Is first we replicate the circumstances, then we duplicate the results. And actually to do that, we're gonna have to do it like they do it in the movies. I mean, if I had to do this for a film, what I'd do is I'd use a much bigger cable than you see in the film, and I'd weaken the hell out of the axle. I'd take out half of its bolts, or all of its bolts, practically.
Adam gets the job of crawling in the dirt.
Since he's already dirty, he's been kind enough to spare me.
That's how his shirt stays white. I do all the dirty work.
You having any luck, Adam?
Yeah, most of the way through that one.
Adam is slicing through the supports that hold the axle to the car body.
I'm going most of the way through all four of these schmageggies.
Jamie had a visit from the cable guy and scored an upgrade to super size.
This is 5/8 instead of 5/16, and the braking strength of this is approximately 10 times the weight of the car. And I don't think we're going to break this cable.
I'm gonna go around the extreme right end of the axle too. I figure all the leverage action we could get is good for us, don't you think?
I agree.
So I think that's as good a job as we can do. I'm dirty. I'm the 8th dwarf dirty.
When this cable comes taut, it's going to twist and hopefully torque that differential right off, and the whole thing will come off.
I've taken the oxy torch and I've cut through probably about 75 to 90% of each one of those 4 control arms.
Either we're going to simply stop the car or we're going to break the car.
I think we'll sooner shear the post off at its base than snap this cable.
The car is ready for its final run.
Okay, ready? There we go.
While their relationship has taken a big shakeup, car and axle are still mostly attached.
Something really horrible happened inside that police car just now.
I think she's done for.
Incredibly, the cable snapped at the telephone pole end, but the car won't be driving any further.
This is the coil spring from the rear suspension of the car. It was sitting like 10 feet from the car.
It flattened the tire. This other one is jammed. The tires are in a wheel well, and so even if we had been able to completely remove the thing, they're not going to go very far.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, you can see under there the trunk is compressed by the impact it took from the axle, and it looks like this entire thing yanked out but had nowhere to go.
So if the MythBusters couldn't pull the axle off, how did they do it in the movie?
I think the key is just pyrotechnics. You know, they somehow blew it.
Yeah. You'd have the rear axle probably on a ramp, so that as soon as it underwent any pressure, it would both go out and under from the car, but it would also raise up the car, which is exactly what it did in the film. So, Jamie, the Hollywood myth, the rear axle. What do you think the verdict is?
Myth is busted. You know, it's just not going to happen by itself, not with anything remotely like the circumstances that you saw in the movie.
Hollywood myth is busted. Buster performed admirably. As usual, though he's a little tired. We're done here. Let's go home.
You're in a jet at 35,000 feet, and there's a hole in the fuselage or a window. What happens? Do you get sucked out in an explosive decompression or not? So far, the MythBusters have shown a bullet hole will have no immediate effect on cabin pressure. The tiny amount of air that can leak out is not enough to cause a rapid decompression.
Well, that didn't seem to do much at all, did it?
But what about a bigger hole? Say, an entire window gets blown out. That's the next phase of our experiment.
So, Boyd, I think we're going to need your help.
Hell yeah.
I think I can solve all your problems.
Boyd is today's guest pyrotechnician. He sets a charge on Buster's window.
Okay, Buster, get ready for a big bang.
We're clear, over.
Our super air compressor, the Huffer, pressurizes the plane to 8 pounds per square inch. The pressure difference between the inside of the plane and the outside is now the same as it would be at 35,000 feet. We're ready to fire. 3, 2, 1.
That was worth it. That was worth everything we went through.
Didn't quite fit through the hole.
Now this is explosive decompression. A hole the size of the window allows a huge rush of air out of the plane, taking with it anything that's not tied down, including our crash test dummy.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like it's ripped some of his back
flesh off
Yeah,
there.
well, it pulled it all the way out towards the window.
Can we yank this out of here?
Yeah. Buster's having a bad year. Well, he survived really well.
I wouldn't want to be sitting near that window when that happened, but you know, these kind of things that you see in the movies where just like somebody that's standing at the other end of the plane gets pushed out, I don't really think so.
No, however, I would not want to be in this seat. I would imagine that this guy might have lost his arm. That's one sealed window.
Boyd has some explosives left over, so the team decide to see what a really big bang will do.
So, Boyd, what kind of charge is this you're laying now?
This is a 100-grain shape charge that is designed to take the side out of this airplane.
Attention, the charge is laid, the plane is live. We're clearing out, sealing doors, and warming the huffer.
We're back up to pressure and ready for ignition. This blast was a little bigger than expected.
I'm glad we were over there.
Everybody's all right.
Everybody's good.
Everybody's good.
You know, again, it just pays to be really careful with these explosives. Buster may be done for.
Did he? Where is he? No!
Incredibly, Buster is still sitting in his seat, although the next row of seats are now sitting on him.
There it is. There it is. Camera looks okay. Please make sure your tray tables are in the upright and locked position.
The combination of explosives and the high air pressure inside the plane has peeled the entire roof off.
Boy, this is as close as I ever want to come to a scene like this. You know, it's fun to see things blow up sometimes. This is actually kind of disturbing, though. You know, we've all ridden in airlines.
Explosive decompression similar to these experiments have happened in real life. In 1988, Aloha Airlines Flight 243 suffered a spectacular decompression that was blamed on metal fatigue. One flight attendant was killed when she was pulled from the 737 at 24,000 feet. But incredibly, all passengers survived, and the plane was able to make an emergency landing. This incident shows the structural strength of modern aircraft. They can take a big hit and still keep flying. A fact that Adam and Jamie have learned working on their DC-9.
If anything, testing this myth made me feel safer about flying, because it showed that even if somebody fires a bullet through the window that you're sitting at, all you're going to hear is like a rushing sound, but it's not going to destroy the plane at all.
You know, the myth that you can be sucked out a tiny hole is just not true.
It's not going to make the cabin explode or make chairs pile towards the door. It's not going to throw bodies around.
We pierced the window, we pierced the aluminum shell of the airplane. Nothing happened. It might have whistled a little bit. That was it.
Myth busted.
You guys keep bringing in more crap into the shop.
That is not crap. That is a fantastic trophy for your wall from one of the most fun myths we've ever had to bust. Come on.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.